Find all your favorite movies and shows faster with Xfinity. Just speak into the X1 voice remote to search across live TV, on-demand, even Netflix and Prime Video. Now that's simple, easy, awesome. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply.
For sectional play, just not sure where at yet. Who knows? We could be at Wayne High School for Sectional 6. And the head coach of the Generals is on the line with us right now, Coach Aaron Rehrer. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Not too bad. Hey, 3 of 4, or 3 straight wins, 4 of 5 overall. So playing pretty good basketball.
Yeah, I'm happy with where we're at this moment, man.
What can you take out of the last day of 5 games? A close win at South. You guys dropped that one at Noblesville, but then you ring off 3 straight wins.
Well, I mean, the South game, which any time that we play South is, that's kind of a rivalry game, I guess I would say, for Wayne and South, and because those kids are all live close to each other and know each other. So, for a majority of that game, we're up double digits, and they made a real good comeback in the fourth quarter. I was very happy with the way we handled our press and ended up closing the game out. Noblesville was a different animal the next day, and actually, which I don't know if anybody knows, we didn't have Craig Young that day.
That's a big deal.
We went on the road, and we competed real hard. It was tie game at halftime. It was back and forth. We just didn't hit enough shots against their 2-3 zone that they run. So, but the last 3. With South Adams being down and everybody, we got to play everybody in that game. And the Concordia was a dogfight, for we went on, I think we ended that game on like a 12-0 run. We held them scoreless in the last 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So, we played in some close games. We played in some games where we were able to pull away and keep the lead. So, I think we've seen a little bit of everything, and we're ready for next week.
Coach, you mentioned Craig Young, and he's been your guy, leads you in points, leads you in rebounds, and I've been really impressed with his mental game this year. He doesn't allow what happens on the floor to affect his overall abilities, overall mentality, and that's the biggest form of growth I've seen out of Craig Young this year on the court. Yeah,
he's come a long way as far as that goes, man. He's always been pretty much the most athletic kid that's going to be on the court. He does everything pretty well, and there were times where he kind of lost his head a little bit and, let either crowd or fouls or whatever distract him, and he's come such a long way as far as that goes. And I've told him for 4 years, man, like our team feeds off of your energy, and I think that he realizes that now, and he's really stepped up and been more of a vocal leader for us.
It's not just Craig Young for you. I've been impressed. Quincy Miles at times has been big for you. Timon Kinney has hit some big shots. Cameron Starks as well. So the other guys around Craig, I think, have really given you some key buckets at key times.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of the thing going into the season, man. When we started, we didn't have Craig, and I'm looking around. I'm like, these guys have all been in our program, and we had 5 juniors that played JV last year that kind of waited their turn just because of the guys that were in front of them playing. So I knew that this would be a hungry group. Most of these kids went to Miami Middle School, so they've been playing together since they were in 6th grade, which doesn't always happen in foreign community schools anymore. So, but they all get along, and they just, they try to do what we ask them to do all the time, man, and it's, it's paid off. Those kids, all those kids that you just mentioned, Michael Redding as well. We need them all, and they've all had really good games, and a lot of them are starting to be real consistent. Down the last month of the season have been really consistent.
Did the fact that you entered the season not thinking you were going to have Craig Young, and then telling guys that they were going to have to step up, maybe help that? Because when Craig Young came back, they were ready to assume. Some sort of leadership or scoring role?
Absolutely, and it probably benefited Darius Alexander more than anybody, just because, for the last couple of years, he's the only other kid that really has varsity experience besides Craig coming into the season, and his role was fairly limited the last couple of years, and he actually had to step up. I mean, a lot of the stuff we run is through the bigs, man, and he had to step up, and he started out well. I mean, he got some confidence, and then when we had Craig, now it's, kind of a two-headed monster. You got to pick which one are you going to double and when are you going to do that. So, he really benefited from that. And then obviously having both of those guys down low, like I tell him, man, every single possession we got to get a touch in the inside because that opens up everything. We got two guys that really can't be guarded one-on-one with their back to the basket. So that opens up everything in our offense.
Aaron Rehrer, Wayne Generals, joining us here on the OPS High School Coaches Show. Coach, it was a crazy SAC, particularly the last couple weeks, but you're becoming an elder statesman here in your 9th year in the conference. Did that surprise you? I mean, Northrop 7-0, finished 7-2. Homestead looks like they're out of it. They win enough games to get back in there, knock off Carroll. I mean, a lot of people were surprised, but I expect that Aaron Rehrer was not surprised.
No, not at all, man. I mean, Northrop had a great season, and that's one of those games when we played them, they just drilled us. I mean, they played really well, and that's a good team. But, Homestead is Homestead, man. We've been dealing with them for they've won our sectional 7 years in a row, man. So we're trying to figure them out. But no, I mean this probably more than almost any other year as well, man. There was, I would say 8 or 9 teams any given night you could get beat by if you weren't ready to go, and it kind of started the season out like that. I mean, Dwenger beats Homestead, and Concordia beats Carroll, and I did not think that anybody would go through the conference undefeated, especially Northrop having to play Carroll down the stretch, and kind of how it ended up. But you absolutely got to be ready to go every single night in this conference, or you'll get beat.
Coach, you get Jay County to kick it off, a different type of team. How do you prepare for them?
Well, we've been doing our preparation here lately. They're a lot like, we got to play them last year in the first round, and then we played Huntington the next game. And there's a lot of similarities. They set a lot of double screen away, flare screen. It's just a lot of motion, a lot of picking. From what we've seen, at least statistically and watching them play, they're not a great outside shooting team, but they do have size. So, we're going to have to kind of control the tempo of the game. We're going to have to be very, very sound defensively and use our athleticism on them. That's going to be the big key for us.
What's the key for you guys or anybody to knock off Homestead in this Sectional 6?
You're going to have to play a really, really good game, man. I mean, they are, I know you guys talk about it, and, Chris Johnson is one of the best coaches in the state easily, in my opinion, and it doesn't matter who's on the floor for them. Those kids buy into their role. They play together. They don't make very many mistakes, and they don't force things. I mean, they can play fast. They can slow it down. So, you're going to have to hit outside shots. You're going to have to hit contested shots against them, and you're going to have to defend really well. You're going to have to do the little things to beat them, which is, obviously it'll be intriguing on Tuesday when they play Huntington again, because Huntington's a pretty disciplined team as well, and they shoot the ball pretty well. So, but they've owned the sectional for the last 7 years, and they've had success in the SAC, obviously, this year and the last couple of years. So, you're going to have to put a complete game together to beat them.
Coach, I appreciate the time. Thanks a lot. Good luck preparing for Jay County and what should be an interesting Sectional 6 out at Wayne next week.
Thank you very much, man.
Springtime tips and fun facts from Paul, Kristen, and Dexter at Total Wine & More.
Garnishing your ham with pineapple? Pair it with a delicious Chardonnay to make their taste buds swirl.
Deviled eggs are even better when paired with a light, dry wine like a bubbly Prosecco or a Pinot Grigio.
For me, nothing beats recommending a great wine. And with such an extensive selection, I can help you find the perfect one in your budget.
Whether you're hosting or just bringing the wine, we love to share our always low prices and ridiculous selection this spring at Total Wine & More. Cheers!
Podcasts by Federated Media. Podcasts by Federated Media.